We got a great show for you today, guys. Russell Wilson signs for $245 million. The Cardinals are losing guys from the kitchen. And Tom Brady, is he really number one? Sport Brothers. Welcome back to Sport Brothers. I'm Tulsa McLean, and I'm joined by Sports Brothers legend BK. How are you today, BK?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Doing well. All right, so we'll do a bit of NFL news today, and then I thought we'd go over the latest top 100 list, but we'll stick to the top 10 because who wants to listen to all 100 players? First point of news, Russell Wilson. He's agreed to a 5-year extension worth $245 million, including $165 million guaranteed. Third most lucrative contract in NFL history. What do you think of that one?
Probably shouldn't have done it. I mean, he's a little bit too old. And he got, 190 million? Yeah, it's because Deshaun Watson set the bar. And now all the other guys are like, what the fuck? He's done nothing, and he got paid all that. Are you kidding me? Like, I've won a Super Bowl. He's really going to make it hard for owners now to sign top quarterbacks. I mean, even if you're halfway good now, you're going to get, $100 million. If you're Mitchell Trubisky, he's probably going to get $100 million, and he sucks. But, Deshaun Watson has really probably put a huge burr in the saddles of all the GMs around the league, and it's just going to keep going like this. Dak's probably going to ask for more. Mahomes might renegotiate. Aaron Rodgers already got his $150 million. It's going to get ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it's funny because Cleveland was basically desperate. I mean, they've been horrible forever, and they added Deshaun. Well, they gave Deshaun Watson all this money, and it's kind of like not fair to everyone else because they did it out of desperation. So now it's set this ridiculous bar. I'm all for players getting all the money they can, but these contracts are insane, especially for some of these quarterbacks that are going to break down or get hurt. Kyler Murray got like $250 million. You got Russell Wilson now. They're not. Russell's getting a bit older. I think he'll still play well, but I don't know if I would have given him 5 years. But hey, I guess the Broncos want to stay relevant. And then to Kyler Murray, geez, like that guy's gonna get hurt. Like I don't wish anyone to get hurt, but I mean he's gonna break down over time. He's just too small, and he's a running quarterback. And then Lamar Jackson, what's he gonna get? He's about to sign some sort of new contract as well. So these guys are getting paid insane money. But yeah, you're right. GMs are like reeling now because contracts are out of control, and
it's all the guaranteed money.
That's it.
Because that's your salary cap dead weight. What if they get injured and you've got $150 million you got to pay?
Exactly, and then you're screwed forever, like until you get them off the books. And wow, yeah, it's crazy. Good job, Russell, Mr. Unlimited, getting paid.
Yeah, he can cook with that. He can cook all at once.
Yeah. Let's see. Cardinals are extending safety Jalen Thompson. He's getting $40 million. I believe he's a cornerback, and he's getting $24 million guaranteed. Not bad for cornerback money. I don't really know the guy. I haven't really watched the Cardinals play much, but I'm assuming he's a good player. You know anything about this guy?
I haven't really heard anything about him. I don't follow the Cardinals that closely. This guy, I mean, whatever. He's getting money. Who knows? I don't think, unless you're a shutdown corner, I don't think you're worth more than $5 or $6 million a year because anybody can get burned and run around and make tackles. So I think there's maybe like 5 cornerbacks that are worth that money. Maybe he is. I don't know. I've never actually seen him play a lot. So
yeah, same.
We'll have to wait.
I agree. Like you got to be pretty damn good to get that really good money as a cornerback. And I'm with you. You don't need to pay a lot for that position because ultimately it's an offensive driven league, and you're not really going to stop that much. Guys are going to score. It's just if you can minimize mistakes and be pretty good on that side of the ball. I'm sure Cardinals need some help because they look like a mess this season. I don't know if they're going to be any good. We'll see. I don't, like when they lost Chandler Jones, I'm like, oh well, there goes their defense. So I don't know about the secondary, but we'll see how it plays out. But good for him. He made some good money, and I guess the Cardinals really like him. Other guy, as well in Cardinals, a weird story. Antonio Hamilton is going to be out the first 4 games of the season because of a cooking accident. Apparently, he burned his foot with hot cooking oil, and now he's going to miss the first 4 games. Another tough blow for the Cardinals.
I don't know how you do that. I've cooked a lot in my life with cooking oil, and I've never burned my foot with it. Like, what was it? Like a gallon of cooking oil? Like, how could you hurt your foot that bad? Like, as soon as it hits your foot, like you would just like back it away, right? Like, if you just sat there and poured it on your foot for like 5 seconds, you still wouldn't be hurt that bad. I would think. I don't know. Maybe it was like 1,000 degrees, but how? I don't even know how that happened.
It sounds horribly painful. I don't know how he took it. Like, man, that would have been a horrible way to burn your foot. And I know, what was he?
No.
Was he cooking for the whole team? Like, what did he have, a giant cauldron of oil, and he just accidentally tipped the whole thing over and half
Dip
his body?
foot in it.
Jeez, that's a crazy story. But yeah, another blow for the Cardinals. I'm not sure what position he plays, but yeah, he's going to be out for the first 4 games.
Well, that's all right. That'd be good for the Chiefs.
Yes.
Opening week.
I forgot about that. You're right. Okay. Other news, Jimmy G staying with the 49ers. What did he restructured his deal? He's going to get a 1-year contract, including $6.5 million, and then it's incentive laden. He can get $8.45 million more, and then he gets $500,000 per game roster bonus. So I guess if he starts those games,
Yeah.
he's going to keep getting paid. Jimmy G is good at getting paid.
Yeah, he is. And you know what? More power to him. He's just good enough to always probably make a roster and not good enough to ever win the Super Bowl. I mean, he almost won the Super Bowl, but he blew it because he couldn't hit, what was it, Manuel Sanders, whoever was wide open, and he overthrew it. And they probably would have won if they catch that, because then the Chiefs came down, they scored again, and that was it. The game was over. But yeah, that tells me a lot, though, about what they think of Trey Lance. Because if Trey Lance is Trey Lance, like Andy Reid thought Mahomes was going to be awesome, which he was. So Alex Smith got shipped right away, like gone. Washington, see you later. So what does that say about Trey Lance, or what they think of him? You know what I'm saying? Why would I keep Jimmy Garoppolo? He is Alex Smith, basically. And if you're going to be Mahomes, then you don't need him. So that makes him think that he's not going to be Mahomes.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. That was actually my follow-up question. Where does this leave Trey Lance? Obviously, Jimmy is a good quarterback. They won with Jimmy. It's going to be tough for that guy to now have him as the backup, because if he starts slipping and they go 0-3 or something to start the year, everyone's going to be calling for Jimmy G. And he's been a Rams killer, and he's been good against that division. So I'm sure they don't want him to play all the other teams, but like at the end of the year, you know, maybe Jimmy G's in the playoffs by the time they get to the end, or even earlier, and then he's going to get paid. He's going to get all his incentives. I can definitely see a scenario where Trey Lance performs poorly. They pull him, they put in Jimmy G, and he's going to have to wait another year before he gets to start there, which would be hilarious because, you know, everyone at the beginning of the year was saying it's all about Trey Lance. So I'm right with you. I don't know where that leaves Trey Lance, but it makes you think, is he any good?
Yeah, it's definitely a question mark. I mean, I always thought he was a question mark coming in, but that would not give me a vote of confidence if I was Trey Lance. I'd be like, I do not need Jimmy G putting pressure on me on the bench. Just like, get rid of him.
Exactly. Like, get rid of that guy.
So,
get rid of that guy. I don't want him there. Even
know.
if you're friends, even if you got a good rapport, I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah, you don't want somebody there that's constantly going to take your jobs.
And he's, just like you said, he almost won the Super Bowl. Like, we'd be talking about him differently if he'd have hit that pass.
Yeah, he's one pass away. But that's why he's Jimmy G. He just doesn't quite have it.
Excellent. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for the NFL news. I thought today we would just go over the NFL Top 100. So there's been a few lists released. I've got the list for, I believe, the NFL released. So we're not going to go through all of it. We'll just do top 10.
Yeah, the top 10, not the 100.
Exactly.
We're going to do 100.
don't want to torture anyone through that. But we'll do top 10. We'll give our thoughts. We'll go through it. So I thought we'd start with the top 100 from the NFL, which apparently is by the players. And so starting with number 10 is Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I guess I'd put Kelce in there. He's getting a little long in the tooth, and he's got 1 or 2 good years left. But yeah, I guess if we're rating it on how they rate it, I have a hard time not putting them all as quarterbacks because
right,
they're more valuable. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, as a tight end, yeah, he's a top 2 or 3 tight end, so I guess you could put him in the top 10. I mean, if he was the 15th best player, it wouldn't make any difference, you know.
I'm with you. Yeah,
So,
I agree. He's probably the best tight end in the league, I guess, right now. Him and George Kittle. I don't know if anyone else is really challenging there, but top 10, I'm not sure about that. Like you say, I'm with you. I'm thinking, aren't you just going to list the last 10 as the top 10 quarterbacks? But I guess not. Players have a different view. I think they get warped views on things or ring envy or whatever goes on, but they definitely put some weird players in the top 10 because I could maybe see him top 20 in like this next
yeah,
tier. But yeah, 10. I like the guy. I mean, but like you said, he's probably only got what he's going to probably pass all Shannon Sharp and various other guys, Rob Gronkowski's some of their records, and he's going to be
yeah.
definitely a Hall of Famer. But yeah, I don't know about top 10.
And having Mahomes didn't hurt his
Oh,
career at
not at all.
all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty good company.
yeah.
And then we go number 9, Jalen Ramsey. What do you think of that one?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like sit here and watch defense, but if if they say what he says he is, I've seen him play, but yeah, I mean, I could still put him in the top 20 or whatever. Like, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, he's definitely a top 10 guy. I could probably name 10 other guys that are just as good that belong at 9.
Sure.
Kind of like Kelsey.
True. Yeah. Look, he's a top 10 smack talker, that's for sure. He's a great player. You don't normally see a lot of defensive guys in these top 10 lists. So, good for the defense. So they probably get left out a lot. But yeah, I could see him top 20, second tier. And yeah, number 9, it's pretty good. I guess the players think a lot of him. And he just won the Super Bowl. So I think that always factors in. People are like, oh, you just won the Super Bowl. You get to go in the top 10. So
He's in the LA market. Yeah.
that's it. All right, and then number 8 on their list is Patrick Mahomes at number 8. I think he was 1 last year, wasn't he? Like 8.
Yeah, I don't get this at all. I take him number 1 every year. I mean, my God, what else can you ask from somebody? He has no running game. He has no defense. He just got a decent line. He really has no one that's super talented at wide receiver. I know he had Tyreek Hill last year, but still, Tyreek Hill is a slot
Yeah.
receiver, and he's 5'7". And yeah, he's the fastest guy in the world, but you got to put the ball right on him, and he did that. And yeah, I mean he's got Andy Reid, but how could you not take him? Like what team in their right mind, any team would be like, do you want Mahomes? Like what team would say no? No, he's only the eighth best player. I don't want him. No one would fucking say that. Every fucking team would be like, yeah, I'll take him. What do you want? Even Tampa Bay would be like, yeah, I'll switch him out for Brady. You want to do a straight up trade? Sure. And Rodgers, like, you want to do straight up trade with Rodgers? Fine, I'll take
Yeah.
Mahomes. Everybody would do it, and there's not one fucking team in the whole league that wouldn't take him.
Oh, I'm with you. I mean, you'd be like, my whole roster's available. What do you want?
No, what do you want? Let me put everything on the table, and you can have it.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. The guy is unbelievable. He's like the Michael Jordan of the football world. He's got all kinds of talent, and he hasn't had much around him, and he's elevated that whole franchise. They finally got the Super Bowl again, and Tyreek Hill. I didn't
Right.
realize he was only 5'7". Wow, he's not that tall, is he?
Well, he's a little taller than that. I know. I was just
You're
exaggerating.
serious.
He might be like 5'10", but if he's listed at 5'10", he's probably really 5'8".
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't look tall, but yeah, he's not the best hands in the league. He dropped a lot of passes, even in
Oh, he drops
that
everything.
pass in the Super Bowl. If he'd have just caught that against Tampa Bay, it was right in his hands. I mean, we might have had a ball game, but once that would happen, it all seemed doomed and gloomed from there. But yeah, you're right. Patrick Mahomes has overcome so much. No defense. He's got Andy Reid calling the plays, which is excellent. At
Yeah.
least he's got a good coach, but he's had no number 1 receivers and literally no running game. And he puts up stellar numbers every year and is always in the conversation for MVP. So number 8 is pretty hilariously low for me.
Yeah, and even that Super Bowl I was more impressed with his crazy acrobatic throws than anything Tom Brady did. What did he do? A couple dump passes for touchdowns? What did he do? It was hard. And then the defense, like he had a offensive line. He had like a college, maybe Division I offensive line that was playing that game, and he was running for his life. The backup guards were playing tackle. They were starting at tackle. The backup slow, shitty guards were starting at tackle. It's like, what do you expect from the guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, there's no way. There's no way he's not in the top 5. How can you not put him in the top 5? In the top 8? I don't know. A lot of those players, They need to start testing for crack and
I
marijuana
know, right?
because they are smoking something. You
Definitely.
know?
And Tom Brady is pretty much a dinker and dunker. He gets rid of the ball fast because he doesn't want to get hit. He's old. Like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get damaged. No, who
Exactly.
would?
And yeah, Patrick Mahomes, I think they said he ran something like 500 yards if you added up all the time he had to run away from the defense. So, I mean, Jesus, the guy didn't have a chance. And when you got no offensive line, like, that's super important. You got to be able to give the guy at least 3 seconds to step back
yeah,
up,
you got to give him a
right?
second.
It's like playing high school football and you got no offensive line, and it's just like the whole
Right.
wall
It
just
is.
drops as soon as everyone comes through, and you're just
Yeah.
running for your life. Yeah, it was bad. Like, you know, I don't know how he stood in there and played the whole game. He even said I haven't had a game this bad since high school, I think. So yeah, that was crazy. That was hard to watch. All right, well, moving on. Number 7, Devontae Adams. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I'd put him up there. He's the got to be the number one receiver in the league. He had Aaron Rodgers last year, so it'll be interesting to see what he does this year. I think he'll still have a good season. He won't do what he did last year because Derek Carr is not quite as good, but he's a top notch receiver. He should probably be in the top 10. He's an offensive force.
Yeah, I agree. He's pretty damn good. Like, if you're gonna put a receiver in there, he definitely should make the list. Number 6, T.J. Watt.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go defense, I'm probably not gonna put him in the top 10 though. He plays that edge rusher, and for some reason, those guys always get hurt. He's already hurt again. I think he got hurt in the preseason
Right?
already. Whatever it is, the Bosa's, Miles Garrett, all those guys, like the edge rushers, just get hurt. I guess because they go balls out. They have to go balls out to get a sack, and they're gonna be good for 8 games, 8 or 9 games. I mean, look at his brother. How much has his brother's injuries hurt his career, JJ? Like every edge rusher, the Bosa's always get hurt. Every good one I can even think of. Clowney. Yeah, Clowney. He got hurt too. Like they can't play more than 8 or 9 games without getting hurt. So yeah, they're great when they're in there, but it's kind of like Ed McCaffrey. Like he'd be number 5, except he plays 2 games a year. So it's like it's the same kind of thing. Yeah. So no, I can't put a guy in the top 10 that plays 8 games.
Yes. You mean Christian McCaffrey, right? Not his dad.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey. Yeah. Yeah, I wanna say in the last show I said Mike Jackson. I meant Mike Williams. I don't know what else. Smoking crack. Mike Williams plays
Michael
receiver
Jackson.
for San Diego. Yeah, I was like Mike Jackson. So people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" There's nobody named Mike Jackson on the Chargers.
All good. Well, yeah, T.J. Watt, good player. Like you say, they all get banged up quite a bit. They got to fight, tooth and nail to get through all those huge offensive linemen. So yeah, they're going to get banged up, and he's a great player. But you're right. I don't know if I'd have him top 10. There's other guys that are sort of in the similar category. And what you said about J.J. Watt, I mean, if that guy hadn't gotten hurt, he would have been all-time best ever, right? Like, he was on pace for like unbelievable seasons. He was even catching passes as a tight end in certain situations. He was amazing. So if you look at his prime, he was like one of the best ever. But then he got hurt, and it's just kind of fallen off, and people kind of forgot how good he was. But his brother's really good as well. It makes me wonder about that rookie Aiden Hutchinson. Like, he'll probably have a really great year, but then, like you say, as they get a bit older, they start to break down a little bit. So this is probably going to be his best season, even though he's a rookie. He'll probably get the most sacks and do the best he ever has because he'll be more durable. And these guys kind of break down over time. So like you say, it's a tough position, and you're going to get smashed up a lot. But he's a great player. I'd probably have him, out of the top 10, maybe top 20.
If he could play 16 games, yeah, but it's just impossible.
It is.
It's just the way the game is. Especially now there's 17 games. There's no way he's going to make it through the whole season.
All right, and this one kind of shocked me. Number 5, Jonathan Taylor. What do you think about
that? Yeah, I think again, it's the players, and they're probably just trying to put a running back in there. I mean, I would take Jonathan Taylor in a heartbeat. Actually, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, piece of shit, nobody nothing, was drafted in front of him, and I would take him I would trade that out in a million years. I don't know why Andy Reid likes shitty little third down running backs, but that's what he always gets. No, I mean, Jonathan Taylor is a stud, and maybe in the 90s he would probably be top 5 because people ran the ball in the 90s. But now he's a great player, and he's probably the best running back in the league. Maybe Derrick Henry's better, but in this quarterback passing driven league, I got to go all quarterbacks and maybe a couple receivers. I can't really put running backs in there.
Yeah, I agree. And look, is he better than Travis Henry? I don't know about that either, but yeah, he's a great running back.
Derrick
Oh,
Henry,
sorry,
yeah.
Derrick Henry. What am I talking about? Travis Henry. Jonathan Taylor's a great running back. I like him a lot too, and he'll probably get some good opportunities because Matt Ryan's probably not what he used to be anymore, and hopefully they'll let him run the ball a bit more and balance it out and help him with play action and stuff. So Indianapolis might be good if they use him in the right way, but top five is a little rich for me. But hey, look, he's a good player. Number four, Cooper Cup. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I put him in the top five, but I'd put him in the top 10. He's the Triple Crown last year. He's Matt Stafford's go-to guy, and he's pretty damn good. I don't know a team that wouldn't take him because you need a guy like that. He's like the best number two receiver you could possibly get. Yeah, he runs routes well. He catches the ball. He does all the intangibles that wide receivers don't usually do. Yeah, I'd put him probably like where Patrick Mahomes is, eight,
Yeah, that's a good spot.
and yeah, I don't know about four. Yeah, I think he's. I could agree with the top 10.
Yeah, me too. I mean, obviously, people are going off last season. He had a season for the ages. He got all the like best stats you could ask for since Jerry Rice. Maybe it'd be the closest comparison. And he won the Super Bowl MVP, which is like the hardest thing to do as a non-quarterback. So, what a season! I see why they put him up there, but I don't know about number four, but definitely top 10. I'm with you on that one. Number three, Mr. Ayahuasca, Aaron Rodgers. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you got to put him up there. He's the best regular season quarterback there is, really, when you think about it. His problems in the postseason are all that they keep him from being the goat. If he could have won four Super Bowls, the goat argument's there, even with Tom Brady six. But he just chokes it off every year. The last 3 years, just man, what are you doing? I mean, he's so good in the regular season. I don't understand why he sucks in the postseason. But yeah, I mean, definitely got to put him in the top 10. He's gonna win you 12 to 15 games every year, no matter what. And if you got, you're gonna be in the playoffs. You know you're gonna be a number one or number two seed every year with him.
He's definitely in the top 10. I mean, I talk a lot of shit about him, but he's a great quarterback. I think the reason I talk shit about him is because I expect more from him. He just doesn't perform in the playoffs. I don't know what happens. He used to have Devontae. Now he's going to have to do it without him. So he's definitely not going to have another MVP season in my mind. And he just, I don't know if he needs a defense. I don't know what he lacks, but every time he gets on the big stage, they always come up short. And I just don't get it. Like you say, he's the greatest regular season quarterback of all time, and it just doesn't translate to the playoffs. It makes no sense.
I think there's something to. I mean, he is a douchebag, and he's just a douchebag person. But I think there's something to that in the postseason that he's like not a leader. Like the guys don't want to play for him. I think there's something to that too. Like Tom Brady's like, yeah, come on, and he just like leads by example, and he does it. And I think Mahomes is kind of the same way. They just put the work in, and people are like, well, if he's putting the work in, I got to. Rodgers is just like, it's all about me. I'm a diva. Oh, my toes hurt. So if my toes hurt, I've got COVID toe. So that way, if I win, I look like I powered through it. If I lose, it's because I had a hurt toe. He's just like a douchebag bitch like that. So I think that might have something to do with the fact that guys don't want to play for him in the postseason. They just want to fold it up and go home. Like, fuck that guy.
Maybe you're right. Maybe that's what happens. I don't know, but he just doesn't seem to get it done in the postseason. So maybe there's something to that. But I'll definitely put him top 10. He's a great player.
Gotcha.
Let's see, number two, Aaron Donald. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, this is the one I've always kind of had a problem with. I don't understand why everyone is on this guy's nuts. I even had to watch some film the other day because I'm like looking at he's like in the top two of like every list, and I'm watching film and I'm like Aaron Donald highlights. I type it in. He beats like Rob Gronkowski and gets a sack. It's like, okay, who can't beat Rob Gronkowski? He's like 33 and he sucks at blocking anyways. And then the other sacks were like coverage sacks. Like they're just like the quarterback's running around forever. Of course, he's just supposed to do that. It's like law of percentages. You'll eventually get a sack. And he doesn't, to me, he doesn't impose his will. He's like Lawrence Taylor. You'd watch that game like, oh, fuck, that guy's unblockable. Like you can't score on Lawrence Taylor because the guy gets through every time. He doesn't. I've watched games with him and like they don't even mention his name. I've seen whole games where like he doesn't even get a tackle. And I'm like, why is this guy number 2? But like, what the fuck? Like Warren Sapp was better back in the day. I would be watching Tampa Bay and like, God, man, who's blocking that guy? Like he gets through every time. He's imposing his will on the game. I would take Warren Sapp over him. I'd take Nakamake Sue over him or whatever his name is. Like, I don't understand why everybody's on his nuts, why he gets all this pub. Maybe because he plays in LA and he won. Yeah, he did win a Super Bowl, but they didn't win a Super Bowl until Stafford got there. They didn't do shit with Goff. They changed the quarterback, and now they get a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
There you go. Is that not the evidence you need right there? Like he's not that important.
I hear you.
That's what I think about Aaron Donald.
Yeah, he's definitely benefits from today's game and the way people perceive sports players and athletes in general, where they get these accolades, even like Steph Curry. I'm not the biggest Steph Curry fan. Yeah, he's got some good stats, but when it comes to the ultimate moment, he just doesn't show up. He's not a clutch player, and
he has no clutch.
right. And so same with Aaron Donald. Like, yes, he's got lots of accolades and he's done well and he does get his sacks and whatnot. But ultimately, the reason they got there last year was probably Von Miller freeing up space so he wasn't getting completely double teamed all the time, which he couldn't seem to beat. But no one was better than Lawrence Taylor. Lawrence Taylor was the greatest. And I'm with you. You watch guys, they either pop on the screen or they don't. And he doesn't always pop. He does disappear from time to time. He has up and down games, and he's not always the difference. He's a beast. He's a monster. He's got super strength, but he doesn't. He doesn't say to me that's the reason every time that the Rams win. Like you said, they needed Matthew Stafford. They needed something. They needed Cooper Kupp to have this unbelievable season. I think the offense really won it for him. The defense just happened to be in the right position at the end of the game because Cincinnati almost won that game. Like a few things happened differently, and the Rams aren't in that position to even get the late tackle and
They got jobbed on a call, and they had the worst offensive line in the world. He should, if he's so awesome as he should have like 7 or 8 sacks that fucking game. The Cincinnati had the worst offensive line in the league. Like, where's he at? I didn't see him at all. We had 1 sack at the end, and he thought and then he points at his finger like he's like, "Get out of here, dude!" Like, I can name everybody: Lawrence Taylor, Derek Thomas, Ray Lewis, like Reggie White. Like, I can just go on a Bruce Smith. I can go on of guys I would take over him. I don't see why he gets so much like praise. I don't understand the Aaron Donald phenomenon at all, and I never will.
Yeah, I agree. Well, is he top 10?
No, I don't. I wouldn't put him in the top 10.
All quarterbacks?
I could think. Yeah, I would do all quarterbacks first, just because it's a quarterback-driven league, and you got to have them. But then offensive players like need him. I'd be happy with Chris Jones. What does Aaron Donald do that Chris Jones doesn't do?
True.
What is the benefit? We're not talking about Chris Jones is the best. He's not probably in the top 100, and they're basically interchangeable parts. So I just don't understand.
Yeah, I'm with you. He's definitely not number 2. Number 1, Tom fucking Brady. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's like a lifetime achievement award. I would put him in the top 10. I'm not going to put him as number 1 player overall. He's just he's still really good, but I think he's lost a little of his edge. He's got a little rust on him, but he's still excellent. He's like Nolan Ryan when Nolan Ryan was 45. He was still awesome, but Nolan Ryan wasn't the best pitcher when he was 45, and Tom Brady's not the best quarterback, but he's still up there. He's top 5.
Yeah, I keep him definitely in the top 10. I don't know about number 1, but I mean, like you said, probably a lifetime achievement award. Everyone looks at all his rings. They won at the rings, and they're like, he's the best, so we're going to put him number 1 because it's the players, and the players, want to promote guys that do really well. They want those rings, right? It's all about it's like Lord of the Rings. They all just want that gold fever. I want the rings. So they see what he's got on his hands, and they're like, that guy.
Well, I can kind of go over the ESPN one real quick.
Okay.
It's almost the same.
Yep.
The only real differences they have is Mahomes is number 1.
Okay.
Which I totally agree
Me
with.
too.
Donald, Aaron Rodgers, Cooper Kupp, they're all in like the same order, right? They do have Josh Allen at 5, which I agree with.
Yeah, I like him.
And I would put Allen at 5, and I would put Joe Burrow in there. I would put Herbert in there. I put them at top. I mean, it's a quarterback-driven league. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know what this list, how they're quantifying it or whatever. Like, maybe they're basing it on what your grade is at your position or some shit like that, but whatever. you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a fucking quarterback. If the Chiefs didn't have Mahomes, what would they be? They'd be like the 28th best team in the league if they didn't have Mahomes or some shit like that,
Yeah,
right? Like they would be awful. But with him, they're a Super Bowl contender. So that says it all right there. And it's the same thing with the Bucks. If they didn't have Tom Brady, if Green Bay didn't have Rodgers, they would be horrible. They would be like the last place team. So
I'm with you.
that, and I can go over a couple others. They have Miles Garrett, so they got T.J. Watt as well. They've got Justin Jefferson, which I think is a good. I think he's a really good receiver. He's probably number 2 over Devontae. So they basically, and they have Devontae at 10, and they have Miles Garrett and Jalen Ramsey. So they've got T.J. Watt was in there as well. So they've got 2 edge rushers, which, like I said, I don't agree with because they're going to get injured. And then, Devontae and Jefferson is a really good young player. I don't know if I'd put him top 10, though, but probably top 20.
Yeah, that next tier is really hard to decide who would go into, but I'm with you. I mean, for sure, top 10 or top 5, you got to have Mahomes in there. I take him number 1. You got to have Justin Herbert in there. He's unbelievable. You got to have Josh Allen in there. He's unbelievable.
Well, you have Herbert, Burrow. I mean, Rodgers, Brady. You got to be in there.
There's 6 right there. So that should be 1 through 6, right? And then finish it out, last 4, whoever you want. But it's got to be at least the top 5 or 6 guys have to be quarterbacks in my mind.
Right, because those are the guys that are going to take you to the promised land. Like in football, it's so crazy. Like he touches the ball almost all the time. Like almost every offensive play, the quarterback's going to touch the ball at some point. So it's just like one guy has more responsibility than anybody else, and he's got to call the plays. He's got to make sure everything's right. Like he's got to do so much. So really game-changing defensive player might be in there, but I don't really know who one is. I mean, I would put what's his name, 11 from Heaven in there.
Michael Parsons.
Michael Parsons.
Yeah,
I put him in the top 10.
He's really good.
He's the best defensive player in my mind. That dude is unreal, and he can do everything. He can sack, he can cover, he can make crazy tackles. He's a beast. Like that dude should be in the top 10. I take him over Aaron Donald any day of the week. Are you kidding me? That guy he's just a freak. Like those are the defensive players that make a difference. Like he makes game-changing differences. And even like a guy like the Honey Badger, remember the Honey Badger? He would make game-changing plays. Like, but there really isn't a really crazy, like Deion Sanders type, just game-changing Charles Woodson, those guys that would get interceptions, take it back to the house. I don't see a guy like that. Jalen Ramsey isn't that guy. If there was a defensive player like that, I'd put him in the top 10. And Michael Parsons is probably the only defensive player I'd put in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree. He's unbelievable. And he's young, and he's going to get better, and he's already incredible. You look at the rest of the list, like you say, quarterbacks, they do everything. If you take any of those 6 quarterbacks we named and you put someone else in there, I don't even know if those teams win their division, let alone make the playoffs. So that proves to you right there, they're the best, and they should be in the top 6 for sure. Yeah, I don't know about these lists, but hey, the players have their opinions, GMs, executives, various people, and then there's the political agenda or whatever you want to call it, as far as like how they want things to be perceived. So that all weighs into it as well. So you get some of it, but like, yeah, Michael Parsons definitely the only guy I'd put in as a defensive player, and then the rest quarterbacks.
Yeah, and maybe a receiver here or there, maybe a Cup or Devontae.
They can round out that last 4. We'll put 6 guys as quarterbacks, and then we got Cooper Cup, Devontae, Micah Parsons, and whoever else you got.
Yeah. If you want to put Derrick Henry in there, maybe Derrick Henry.
Yeah. So that's our top 10, at least according to us. We didn't really make the top 10, but at least we went over the top 10 and decided what
quarterbacks.
Just make it all quarterbacks, and I'll be happy.
You only need quarterbacks for the top 6. You don't even need a top 10. You need the top 6 quarterbacks, and that's it. Everyone else is irrelevant.
Exactly. And we both agree Patrick Mahomes is number 1. He's the best quarterback right now.
Yeah.
Far and away. Like, forget about it. Come on. I love, Tom Brady, you're really good, but this is like, it's like in the Oscars or whatever, they always give it to the guy like 4 or 5 years after he really earned it in whatever role he was in. Like, and they're like, oh, well, you deserve it now, even though that was a terrible movie. But that's what it's like.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, anything else you want to add today, BK?
No, I think that's good.
All right. Well, thanks for joining Sport Brothers today. Leave us some comments. Just tell us what you like and get back to us. And that's the show.
As always, stay sporty. It
Sounds gay
like
as shit.
a deodorant
Right?
brand. Yeah.
Should we do it? Okay.
Or sporty brand spice.
All right, ready? And that's the show today. Thanks for joining Sport Brothers. And as always, stay sporty.
Brother. I thought you were going to say.